everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. Welcome to today's video. I'm just finishing up a smoothie here. It's frozen organic bananas with frozen plums that I picked from my tree with cane sugar added to bring up the flavor profile, and water. Okay, so I was asked to make a video about fructose and thyroid function. So I think what I'll do is give you guys a general understanding of fructose metabolism and what fructose is. So fructose is a monosaccharide like glucose, and a monosaccharide is just a single molecule of carbohydrate. Fructose finds its way into our diet primarily from fruit and sugar, like what I just had in my smoothie. But even in the form of fruit and sugar, fructose makes up about half of the carbohydrate content, whereas glucose makes up the rest. So fructose is never completely isolated in dietary form, meaning like food that you ingest. Even in high fructose corn syrup, it's still about a 60-40 split of fructose and glucose. So when it comes to fructose metabolism, it gets metabolized very similarly to glucose. So it has two fates basically, is it will go through glycolysis or it will go through gluconeogenesis, where fructose gets converted to glucose, or fructose in glycolysis gets broken down into cellular ATP. The significance of fructose compared to glucose is that it doesn't require insulin, so it gets metabolized primarily in the liver, where it gets turned into cellular ATP. And it does this through something called passive diffusion, where it doesn't require insulin in order to get into the cells. It just gets in a little easier, which is why it's so beneficial to consume a diet that is significant in fructose, like a diet that has a lot of fruit in it with the addition of table sugar, because fructose more easily gets translated into energy, so you get energy quicker without needing insulin to help with the process. Also, for people who are insulin resistant, having a diet that's higher in fructose actually lowers insulin needs, so it can be beneficial if you are trying to get a handle on your insulin resistance as well. So okay, now when it comes to our thyroid, we have something called TSH that our pituitary gland releases that triggers our thyroid to produce and release its own hormones, predominantly T4 and T3. T4 is the precursor to T3, and our T3 is the hormone that is responsible for maintaining our metabolic rate. So our metabolic rate is the sum of all the chemical processes that are occurring within our body that allow us to be alive. So it's very important that our metabolic rate stays at an efficiently working level in order for everything in our body to work correctly. And our metabolic rate is heavily dependent on the amount of energy that our cells can produce from the food that we eat. And now when it comes to our thyroid function, that is heavily dependent on our ability to intake carbohydrates. So carbohydrate ingestion triggers the production of T3, which again is responsible for maintaining our metabolic rate. So in order for our metabolic rate to be high, to be efficient, to be working properly, to allow us to burn body fat, to allow us to have energy, we need to be taking in sufficient amounts of carbohydrate, whether it's in the form of fructose or glucose. Ideally, you want them both, a diet that's high in fruit, sugar, starches, vegetables as well, but vegetables just aren't as high in carbohydrates, so I really like to emphasize the intake of fruits, sugars, and starches for their glucose and fructose content. So that's it for this video. Leave any comments or questions down below. The take home is that in order for your thyroid to work properly and to keep your metabolic rate high, you need to take in those carbs. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.